Hi guys, it's Jake here at Canadian Cutting Edge, and I've got a fixed blade for you today. I know it's not Friday, but I wanted to show this to you soon so that if you really like it, you've got time to get it with a 15% off coupon code. This is the DM-003 by HX Outdoors. Damascus blade. I know when I showed the unboxing of this, some of you just disagreed with me. Well, unless you have it in your hands, you're going to have a tough time legitimately disagreeing with me. I do believe this is Damascus. It doesn't look like your typical Damascus, and that's because it doesn't have two-tone Damascus. Damascus simply is two layers, two types of steel in layers, and we have that here. You just don't see different colors here. You could have very similar steels have two-tone, have the same kind of tone, so you just see the different layers. I'll show you a close-up of this edge here, or the face of this, so that you can see the Damascus lines in there. You do have an inlay of copper at the top, so they've cut out a section, you know, a wiggly kind of fuller, if you will, and then they filled it in with copper. I know it's not a fuller, it's just to give you some idea of what I'm talking about. We've got genuine stag handle. We've got some filed out sections in between here. It looks like that's probably stone. It might be bone, but I think it's a stone. And then we've got other layers of different materials. And then you've got the stag handle, and then you've got the pommel back here. I believe it is a full tang right to the back, the way it's made. It's not designed to come apart though, so don't try to do that if you want to buy it. There's the cap on the end, and the end of the tang of the blade. Nice thick blade, not too long. Clip point right here. Nice belly on here. I've sharpened this up to 20-degree angle. It was very close to 20 degrees. So I just sharpened it up to true everything up perfectly. And it sharpened up very well in my sharpening system. They say it has a Rockwell hardness of 58, and that makes sense for my sharpening experience when I was sharpening it up. I believe it's very close to that. And this is a good, sharp knife. And I believe it's an effective hunting knife if that's what you want to use it for. If I don't sell this, and I'm willing to sell this if the right buyer comes along, but if I don't sell this, I won't be using this for hunting. This will be one of those few knives that I'll hold on to and not use until I find a special occasion to gift it to somebody, or just simply keep it in pristine new condition, you know, for as long as I possibly can. You can see the different layers of steel on the spine as well, so I'll give you a good picture of that. Really nice leather, you know, not super nice, but really nice leather sheath. Since there is a big sale at GearBest right now, there's a 15% off coupon if you want to get one of these. You have to use that coupon while the sale's going. I've also got a 10% off coupon code for knives and other outdoor stuff that's good for all of 2017. That's also in the description below, so check out that text area below where you see some words below the video here. Click where it says show more and you'll see even more information. So let's stick around for the rest of this review right now. There we go. I think the light is quite nice for what we get here. Let's do some nice close-ups of this. I think you should easily be able to see those lines in the Damascus there. Maybe even in the spine of the blade, you can see it a little bit. Since it's focused on there, you can see that it's a couple different layers of steel. There's a core layer, and then on the two outside faces, there's other layers. And now you can see this close-up of this file work here. And the peening work here to make these little dots in there. And here's that green piece, green and white stone or whatever it is that's in the middle there between these two black lines. I think it's some kind of stone probably. I really do like this camera. Can you believe this is a cell phone? You can get this cell phone in a number of different versions. They've got versions where it's got 2 gigs of RAM, 3 gigs of RAM, 4 gigs of RAM, a couple different processors. You can get the camera in a number of different packages in terms of how much RAM it has and the CPU, but the camera itself is the same in a wide variety of those. So if you want a good camera on a cell phone and it's unlocked international frequencies, I've checked most of the Canadian vendors. I haven't verified in all of them, but everyone that I've checked, and I've checked all the big ones, the international version of the Note 4 or the Xiaomi 4 camera here, I'll put them in the description below, the links and everything. It is, a really good camera for doing video and still pictures. I just like it. It's better than the still cam. I bought a Canon camcorder to do these videos with, and it's just not as good as this cell phone. So there you go. I forget what I was saying because I got a phone call. Yeah, totally lost my train of thought. Okay, so this knife is a rather expensive knife, and that's why you probably want to use the coupon code when you can if you want to get this knife. 15% off is, 15% off at around $209 Canadian. You're looking at over $30 discount, if you get 15% off. So that's a good thing. I'll have the link in the description below, and that'll be going until this 11/11 sale's over. And otherwise, you can take that 10% off code until the end of the year. This knife, I believe this is genuine stag. They say it's real deer horn, and it feels just like it, and it looks just like it. So that's really nice. And you can see the close-up of that right here. And then on the pommel right there, you can see how that's been put together. It looks like, let me get this right here. It almost looks like some kind of white stone that they put in on the end here. It's just really nice. Very well done. Very well done. Good handiwork on here. And, I like it. It's a nice knife. I'm not going to do an awful lot of different kinds of testing on it and stuff. The edge is nice and true, evenly ground. It's a really nice looking knife. We've got this leather, a nice high quality leather. They've darkened the edge here. It's stitched together quite well. There's no drain hole down here. You could easily put one in if you wanted to drill in through the end up a little bit. I don't know of a lot of people who would be taking this knife out in the rain anyways. But you've got nice work here, nice clips, and nice pin work right there. And you can fit it on your belt, and it hangs quite well on a belt. Let's talk about some other things here. We've got, for the styling here, we've got this clip point blade, and we've got 2 different dips along the spine there. This sort of snake in the copper that looks really cool. And it's been hammered in there. Looks great. A little bit of jimping right here. 4 jimps right there. And then on the apex of these high spots, there's a little bit of a jimp kind of done in there too. Manually ground in there. And let's take a close-up look at this here. So even there on the spine of the blade, you can see the different lines of the Damascus. Good knife. Let's do the dimensions. Cutting edge is 9.8 centimeters, 3.86 inches. Blade length, so the tip straight back to the handle, is 9.9 centimeters, 3.9 inches. The blade thickness is 4.2 millimeters. That's 0.166 inches. The thickness of the edge behind the grind is 0.7 millimeters. That's 0.027 inches. So it's definitely robust enough to give it a lot of strength there. And at a 58 Rockwell hardness blade, that's plenty. That's nice and thick. It's a bit thinner up here. at the belly of the blade. It comes quite a bit thinner right there than it is right here. I usually measure about an inch from the end by the handle. I go up an inch and I measure. That's the spot where I tend to want to measure my blades, because that's where you're going to cut most frequently. The handle and stuff. The handle length, I didn't count the pommel end right here, just end of the handle, front of this to the end of the handle here, in front of this guard. 11.2 centimeters, 4.4 inches. The grip area inside here is 10 centimeters, 3.94 inches. The handle thickness of this piece of stag is about an inch thick, 2.69 centimeters. The total length of this knife is 8.47 inches. Oh, I forgot to translate that into metric. It'll be on the screen what the metric is. It weighs 232 grams, which is 8.2 ounces. And with the sheath, it's 289 grams, which is 10.2 ounces. Prices, I talked about the prices before. $209.60 in Canadian, $163.41 US. Euros, 140.36, and pound sterling, 124.87. Fit and finish on this, I've already talked about that to some degree. I really like it. It's done very well. The only thing that's a little bit off, and you see it on the other pictures that I've included as well, is that this copper piece in here isn't always hammered in perfectly. It's not sort of seamless. And that makes complete sense, because you've got these two different kinds of materials and you try to fit it in there. And it's just natural for it to not be perfect everywhere, but it's done very well. And this hammered finish looks good. The Damascus finish looks good. The work on the handle here, done very, very well. I really like that, the work that they did all over here. It actually feels, for me, a little bit more comfortable in my left hand, this particular one. And that will always depend on the stag, on how it'll feel in the hand. It feels pretty good in the right hand as well. And I cuts very well. Let's do a little bit of cutting. Got some paracord here. Zips right through, hardly any effort required at all. And this is 9-strand paracord. Just cuts really, really fine. Really, really easily to cut right from the tip. It cuts great. You know, down the belly, cuts great. And all the way down there. And then the guard starts getting in the way, and you can't cut further than right about there. You know, the belly of the blade can cut, and the rest of it too. Of course, when you're doing freehand kind of work, it cuts wherever you want. Very sharp in the hand. Nail nick test, it just catches on the nail everywhere. And that's because I've sharpened it myself. I really like this knife. I think some people might use this as a, as a user knife. Some people might just like this as a gift for somebody special. And since it's right near the holidays, I think it's a good gift to give to somebody who's really into knives. And you want to get them something, a little bit special. Something like this, from the Chinese market, you can get a good knife. There's other markets that do this kind of work as well. If this was custom made in the United States or Canada, it'd be like $600, $700, $800, $1,000, whatever. I can't really say that the quality is exactly the same. I just bought a knife recently from a custom maker in Canada, and I spent $300 on it, but it was one of those sales, sight unseen sales. It was originally $600, and it was one of those. They show you pictures, and you decide to buy it or not. And I bought it, and wow, I was a little disappointed when I got it, because the ricasso, or the plunge line, it goes quite deep on one side and it's quite shallow on the other, and then it's even not true coming up at the other end either. And so yeah, you can get expensive knives, fixed blades, made in Canada or the United States as well, and you just aren't always going to get something perfect. It's just a risk you take. And So while I was a little disappointed with that knife, I'm very happy with this one. So that's all I'm going to do about this video. I really like this knife. If you're interested in one of these, and you've watched this video and you see everything that this is about, if this is the kind of thing you want, I think it's worth it for the price that it is. And please consider using the links in the description below so I get a little bit of a credit for it. And use the coupon code so you get a little bit of a discount. You can also see I've got a new watch. That's also a Xiaomi. I'll be talking about that on a video pretty soon. So it's 246, and the 11th or the 12th day of the 11th month. And you can see that so far today, that's the watch battery. I've walked 5,340 steps. It's been a very busy day today. There you go. Thanks so much for watching this video, and I will be doing a review on this watch very soon. And thank you so much for watching this. Remember, always cut towards your chum, not your thumb.